After the scandals in women's basketball this week, you might think that we at the BOYSCAST are going to make jokes about Angela Reese or Caitlin Clark, but we want you to know that we see women's basketball as no laughing matter.
And we could make jokes like what do women's basketball prophets and John Cena have in common? Can't see them. Or how Angela Reese was actually signaling to the male players to put a ring on it. But we refused to do that.
And when racists like Keith Olbermann called Angela classless and had to retract it, the internet was dunking on him. Call me a purist, but I like my women's basketball and commentary dunk-free.
For your information, despite losing millions of dollars, the players can call up their sponsors and make thousands of dollars. And I'm not talking about their sponsor at Brickaholics Anonymous. Is a joke that I would not make.
Other podcasts might think it's okay to make jokes like Knock Knock.
Who's there?
Women's basketball MVP.
Women's basketball MVP who?
Exactly. And we won't do that even though it's a layup. Something I like to see over and over and over again.
And I will not call it the WNBA for effort, and I will not ask why did the WNBA player cross the road.
And I won't say why.
To get to her job at Little Caesars.
Just because people respond to women's basketball the same way they do when you tell them the price of a fancy Rolex by saying, I actually don't want to watch, that's none of our business.
Other less classy podcasts might call women's basketball the women's basketball of sports, but not here.
So good on Angela Reese for not accepting Jill Biden's invitation to the White House, even if the BOYSCAST did lose thousands of our Patreon dollars betting on the game.
Betting we'd enjoy it.
The boys! It's the BOYSCAST! The lads! It's the BOYSCAST! The dudes! Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST! It's the bros! It's the BOYSCAST! The homies! It's the BOYSCAST! The dudes! Experience the BOYSCAST!
You already know what it is. The BOYSCAST.
Yeah.
The boys last for 2 minutes. That's the
you
whole
last
rip.
for 2 minutes?
What?
What? Jesus Christ.
I am back from
Jesus
LA.
H. Murphy.
Jesus H. Back from LA on an all-nighter too, which is always what happens too. You know the airlines mess with me,
Well,
man.
I mean, you're losing all the time just coming back too.
More so, I'm losing all the time. I was supposed to take a red-eye wait in the airport forever, and then they just kept bumping me. And honestly, the people were pretty nice about it, so I didn't even get to yell at anyone.
They're just... yeah, they're like, what was the reason? Weather?
No, it's crazy. They just basically, they don't have their crews. So I think they just, everything's a lie. You can't take anything they say at face value. If there was a drop of rain, they would have said weather, but they're allowed to say this bullshit. They go, oh, we have crew issues. It was like, so 9 of your flights, like
It's Joe Biden's America.
They go, who the hell booked this? Where they go, 4 of our flights got canceled. We just had like not enough crew. And it was like, how much crew do you think you were going to need? Like, how does that possibly happen? Like, what are the odds that, okay, so if you had, like, needed 100 crew, so what happened? 80 people didn't show up to work?
4 per fucking flight.
What happened? 70% of your staff didn't show up today?
Yeah.
Doesn't even, so they're lying.
They probably booked them, and they're very much like, we'll figure this out.
That is 1,000% what they do.
They sell tickets like... You ever heard like it's like Firefest essentially, where they're like, sell the tickets now.
Yes.
We'll figure this out by the time this plane takes off.
That's actually what they do.
And then they just get to the plane time. They go,
oh, whatever. Yeah, there's no repercussions. They go, Ryan can
they should at least let you go to, I guess they can't do that.
I'm doing a friggin' 4-hour layover in Boston at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Sitting there at 3:45, twiddling my thumbs like a fucking hobo.
That fucking sucks. They should give you lounge access too, but they probably don't because they have to give it to everybody.
I didn't even ask about the lounges.
Like, let me in the lounge.
I didn't want to be in the lounge out of spite. I wanted to sit there and stew.
Just with the common man stewing.
Yeah. You want to know on top of that is because I knew we were coming back to do the podcast. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get the fancier ticket so I could sleep properly.
Yeah.
And then because of all the changes, I still paid for my fancy ticket and they downgraded me to the crappy tickets.
Oh, that would not.
And there's no real way to get money back on it either.
Oh, I would call them.
I guess
the problem is you're like, are you going to spend 4 hours on the phone for like $80 or something?
More than $80.
Oh, well then I would do that.
Well, maybe I should then.
Yeah.
Okay, well there we go.
What's the airline?
American and JetBlue. I had both. I was fucking wheeling dealing.
I like JetBlue.
Okay, that's enough airline talk. People probably don't love my airline talk. However, we did do.
Did you enjoy a delicious Bud Light?
Well, I was gonna say we did reach the Patreon goal first. I was gonna say.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, so
Thank you,
and like
everybody.
anything, we're already getting really carried away about what this documentary we're doing is going to be. It's already spiraling out of control, and we're hiring a whole crew in Canada.
Oh yeah,
I'm incapable of just doing something without making
that's
it
fine.
a debacle.
Nothing wrong with it. It's Canadian excellence. We're gonna make it killer.
That's true, but you're right. Bud Lights.
Bud Light.
This cash machine, Dylan Mulvaney. I'm a cash machine. No, so basically, the Dylan Mulvaney.
Is Dylan Mulvaney on just before? Is Dylan Mulvaney on hormones?
I don't even know what.
Or is it
on,
literally just?
I think it's sort of
slapped
like
on
a gay guy with
dress?
some makeup. Just sort of looks like a gay dude with some makeup, but I guess it's going by girl now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the amount of money that this person is printing is obscene.
Obscene.
Brand
deals with like literally everybody. Like you're like, how can you have Nike and Adidas?
Well,
how does that even work?
And the thing is, so every time they get Dylan Mulvaney gets a new one, everyone boycotts it, right? So it's like conservatives are like one step away from wearing a potato sack because legitimately, so within a week they give the funny part is the Nike one too. They were like, well, we're not doing Nike now either, and it was just kind of like, I thought you already were boycotting.
Yeah,
Nike.
I thought you already were. Yeah, we were.
and then we
stopped.
Do you think that
we're boycotting them forever?
Do you think that there was anyone that was like burns Nikes or something like that, but like they was just still in the fire pit, so they just kind of relit them? They never really burned properly
like,
the first time.
it's like the flame of the soldier or whatever. It never goes out.
You're always burning a pair of Nikes.
Yeah,
You're burning Kaepernicks.
Yeah.
That would be funny though if they make shoes for Dylan Mulvaney,
Oh my God.
and basically you're just like, yo, are those the new Mulvaneys?
It's all just to literally just make Daily Wire subscribers' heads explode.
Well, the Daily Wire subscribers, I honestly think some of the things like they're a step away from being like, I hope Daily Wire makes a toothpaste because I haven't brushed my teeth in freaking 2 months.
I can't.
There is because I'd say it's 25 sponsors they have right now.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, so that was 25 things that are getting boycotted. So basically, they're legitimately going to be walking around. You're going to see like a guy with just like a Trump. He's going to have a Trump hat on and just like no shirt on.
No, I mean,
and you're going to go a little cold for no shirt. And he was like, I went to 9 stores. I couldn't find one.
Closest thing I found was made in China, and you know we feel about that.
Yeah.
There's a blank made in China.
Well, this is what I was saying. It was like, so liberals can't watch any TV shows. Like they can't watch The Office. They can't watch any comedians. So it's like liberals can't watch or do any entertainment, and conservatives can't wear or use any products.
Can't use any products.
Because everyone's just boycotting everything.
God damn. Bud Light too. You're like, that is such a. There's so many guys who are just like.
Well, Kid Rock did a video shooting up the butt.
Travis Tritt. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's like this big country music dude. He's just like, I'm done. He's taking all that shit because his rider was all like Bud Light.
He changed his rider?
He's like, I'm changing my rider.
What did he change it to?
I don't know. I don't
Coors?
know if there's any non-gay beer.
I mean, if the thing is Bud Light, you go. I mean, obvious joke is to be like, oh, Bud Light. What are they making it gay now? And I got news for you, pal.
Yeah, you're gonna want to have a seat. It's worse than you thought. The best part is like Bud Light is like Dylan Mulvaney is like hawking Bud Light. Like Bud Light's a drink for alcoholics.
It kind of is.
Like that's not a drink. It's for women and alcoholics. Like when you see a guy drinking Bud Light, like he has an alcohol problem.
Yeah, you're right.
Generally.
Well, that is sort of the funny thing about it.
Because they're just like, if I drank 20 regular Buds, you're like, I go to jail. It's like Bud Lights keep guys out of jail and shit.
It's the what, like how black guys can't drink Hennessy. It's like the trailer guy that can't drink Bud.
Yeah, but it's generally like guys who need to pace themselves. So they're like, I drink Bud Lights because you're like, Bud's just like putting me over the edge. It's that 1%.
That was it.
Keeps my family together.
That's a funny thing too. The idea of like someone that had to boycott Bud Light and then like they cleaned their life up because of it. Like I'm not drinking any more Bud Light, and then after 2 days it's like, maybe I should call my son. It's actually like a good
Dylan
thing
Mulvaney's
for him.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney.
But like, is anybody drinking like, you know, some LGBT person who sees this and they're like, you know what, time for me to give Bud Light a try?
No, I actually think, and someone, like, all jokes aside, it probably is like a bad move. Maybe I'm wrong where it's like the sales are through the roof. Who knows? But I do feel like that's not the case. And everyone was pointing out that there was like a girl that took over the company a year ago. And it was like their first CEO in history.
CEO.
Yeah. And her like first matter of business was like doing all that stuff.
And it's not like the Bush family or something?
Well, this is what was making me laugh. It was like the idea that originally Bud Light was imagine they combined the old advertising with the new ones, and then Dylan Mulvaney just comes up and she goes, "What's up?"
That's at least
You forgot. Some of our younger listeners might not remember that. Wazza! That was Bud, right?
I don't even know.
I think it was
so.
Bud.
Yeah, that was Bud.
Wazza!
Not Bud Light.
I know it's not Wazza. So that's the new one. It's Dylan Mulvaney calling.
How did
like
that get popular before the internet? That seems like something that only could.
It
get
was
popular,
that good.
Like,
it was word of mouth viral. That's how good it was.
Like literally, someone calls their friend up on the phone. You go, "You hear about this? Wazza? How do you even?"
I did a few WhatsApps probably.
Of course, we all did. It was like the ice.
Who
bucket.
didn't do
it's
it?
like the ice bucket challenge. Well, I don't know what this is, but dump a bucket of ice on me.
But that's the new one. It's just a bunch of like gay dudes being like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, "Oh, what's up?" What's up? What's up? Just all the screens. The other thing would be funny if Dylan Mulvaney was funny. They do like a thing to Kid Rock and a response to Kid Rock, and then doing like "My name is Dylan." Like they would do something like that.
I'd like to know what it's like. What Dylan Mulvaney behind the scenes is. My guess would be dark.
Probably just swimming in a pool of money.
Yeah,
right
a lot
now.
of money. Yeah, that's nice life. Just every company is just like, hey.
It does make you think like, imagine like. If you didn't have to have your face on the thing, I guess you need the sort of like face of the brand or whatever. But if you just wanted to like start like a influencer agency and you go, I'm just hiring like 5 like the Trumpiest Trump guys you could ever imagine. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's a cuck compared to these guys. And then 5 of like the gayest, non-binary, trans, like the whole debacle, depressed, everything.
Yeah.
And then you just like put these out in the world and just get every sponsorship under the sun. You know what I mean? You have your like 5 Patriot Water guys. You have your 5 like Nike fucking Vays.
All of it. Just cover every base.
Well, it is. There is a lot of. So basically, I think it boils down to right now. It's like conservatives
do you
are
think
nerds
conservatives,
and then liberals are
do you
gay
think there's
nerds.
someone conservative who's like, because you know how a lot of these companies are often owned by like a different company, so you got to really figure out who you can support because you don't know. Sometimes you think you're supporting like a cool company and then they're owned by like George Soros or something, or whatever. Do you think there's someone out there who they're making a rankings of like the least gay beers?
And then they're like, we need to gay these up.
No, they're like, no, conservatives are like, which one can we support? And they go, we found the least gay
This
beer.
beer's so fucking straight.
Yeah, this is like the least. They're like, they don't have one member of LGBT who works at the company. It's like the brewmaster who was related to fucking David Duke, like fourth cousin. They're like, it's
so straight.
We're safe. We're safe, everybody.
I mean, probably the straightest one would be like you find like a Muslim beer, non-alcoholic Muslim beer.
No, yeah.
Non-alcoholic Muslim beer is the straightest beer you could buy.
Haram light.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking though when I was grumbling on the plane, is that if you could, because biological like men are basically taking over every job in entertainment.
Yep.
So it's like most women's jobs, and there's way more people transing to girl than transing to guys.
Of course, yeah. I saw some sort of statistic. I don't know where it was, but yeah, it's like totally skewed, like hardcore. I mean, you name one big
Elliot Page,
I guess, or what? Woman to man, yeah. I guess other than that, yeah.
But like, does
she even do anything anymore?
No, it's everything like this. It's like yes, more guys do it because guys are like more extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're. But it really is the most accidentally for the boys thing because it's like, you go, okay, so basically they're taking guys off the dating pool. So these guys are out of the game. So there's less men. Mm-hmm. So basically you're removing less men and they're only taking jobs from women really.
Yeah.
So it's like women are just getting like their jobs taken and their sports taken or whatever. And it's like really kind of helps men. And honestly, what I was thinking was there's a lot of things like especially like equality things that can only get pushed through by a woman, right? So what if you got, okay, here's a perfect example, right? If women were taller, I bet you that like you would get a more room seat for being taller. Like that's the same principle as all this stuff, right? You go, well, I have this disability, I should get free stuff or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like being fat or whatever. That was like women pushing that through, really. Like if men were only fat, you would never have like fat people get 2 seats. Like,
sure,
you know what I mean?
yeah. It has to women because it's more like degrading for a woman in
Yes.
society's eyes to have to like,
be
you
need women to push this shit through, right? So I think women could push through like anyone over 5'11", and if you had like a trans woman and they were like anyone over 5'11" should get more room, I think they can make that kind of shit happen.
Otherwise it's discrimination.
It's discrimination.
Now, do you think a trans woman can get that and then
They're
for
better
the
than a
boys.
woman.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm
back
thinking.
door for the boys.
That's kind of what my hypothesis is you basically have all these dudes, they trans to women, and then they like push through all this like essentially like pro dude legislation that wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like basically stuff that's like for dicks, you know what I mean? Like better urinals.
I mean, really?
Like you think about that, like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of like, there's probably very little tech that goes into urinals.
Yeah.
Right now, if you have like, if girls start like complaining like there's too much splashback on the urinal, I bet
Sure.
you'd have people would solve the problem.
Yeah, maybe like a hairdryer component, or maybe like a fleshlight comes out just to finish you off after.
So this could be good for us. This is my moral of my story.
All right.
But there was a bunch of funny stuff. Like there was another one with a grandfather that he has this ad where he's wearing makeup, and basically it's for J&B whiskey. So the whiskey company did one too, and it's just a dude. It's so funny because it's this grandfather, and he's like, I guess the thing is he's putting on the makeup because his, like newborn infant's trans or whatever. He's going to show her how to do makeup kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like a man in the mirror just putting on makeup. He looks like a fucking clown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, it's like whiskey, right? So it's like the best, right?
Drink whiskey.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where, even with like all the Trump stuff that's been happening, and you're just like, right now you go, okay, presidents are going to jail. Like every advertisement's like a trans person. And I saw this thing go, new liquid trees divide the internet. And there's like, basically they have this new thing where there's trees that it's like.
You're saying everything's moving too fast.
This was kind of my hypothesis. I was like, when you go, okay, presidents are going to jail. Every person's trans. The trees are now liquid, and this all happened in like a year and a half. You go, can we put a pause? Like the AI's taking everyone. You go, can we take a pause?
Yeah, just a little pause.
Like when
the trees are liquid.
trees are a friggin'. So basically, what happens is it's because they can't get enough trees in different places.
Yeah.
So
it was in Serbia or whatever.
And maybe it's not even the worst idea, but it is just like.
First off, it is the worst idea because
maybe it is the worst idea.
So it's it's a water tank. It's a giant like fish tank essentially full of this algae that like cleans the air better than a tree would.
Okay.
Right. It's like apparently it's the equivalent of a 10-year-old tree, and so it's like a tree takes 10 years to grow. Like you can't speed that up or whatever. And then they're like they made it into like it's also like a bench, but you're like wait till some fucking kid smashes that thing.
Wait, what? Oh, he's gonna smash the
It's a giant tank of green
Downtown.
water in like downtown San Francisco.
That's gonna get smashed right
or
in the
New York
lap.
City. You're like these things are all gonna get smashed.
Well, they'd have to make them very tough, like to smash.
Sure, but then I
Good
don't know.
luck.
Well, they have to have an opening to clean the air, right? There has to be some. I don't know. They're gonna get.
You're right. So
vandalized.
the moral of the story of all of it was just like, can we take a pause for a second? It really feels like a girlfriend that was like, I really had a really good date, so I'm gonna move in and then we're gonna do this. And we'll just hold on a second.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm not saying that you can't have every beer company be a trans person.
No.
Fine. If you want them, okay. Listen, you want to put the presidents in jail. You want to have fucking trees or a cup of water now. It's like, can we take a second?
Hey, how about this? How about upside down trees? I don't know.
It's like literally, it's it's like that you were in a bunker, and it is kind of like old guy talk, but it is really like, if you were gone for 2 years, they come back, they go, fat people are good, boys are girls, girls are boys, fucking trees are liquid, and fucking Trump's in jail. And you're like, huh?
Huh? Whoa,
No, you go, hi, how are you? Can we start? Hi.
Yeah, things are moving
Nice
a
to see,
little.
nice to see you.
Yeah.
And you go, and it's also good to be depressed, and
I will say
hockey games have drag shows now.
I've been thinking a lot about the drag queen thing because everybody's like,
Yeah, you have your little fucking pervert.
Yeah, well, I'm coming around. I finally
scumbag
embraced them
pervert.
as our new overlords, the drag queens. But like all these
drag queens are riffing.
all these drag queens who are like, yeah, we need to like normalize drag or whatever, and you're like, the biggest TV show since 2009 has been a drag show.
Yeah, drag was already sort of popping.
But then I'm
right?
saying, but like now they are saying that though, where they're like, we need to normalize drag, and you're like, drag's pretty normalized.
It is pretty
like
normalized.
it seems like at this point you're like, we kind of agreed it is normalized, and then now you're like, no, it's not, and we need to go even further. You're like, I think it is though.
But it's also not. Drag isn't like a lifestyle, really. You're just like, it's supposed to be like I guess you'd call it an art form or whatever.
Yeah, but it's
so
also like it's.
Why do you normalize? Like, why would you ever say that about an art form? It's like, we need to normalize like banjo players.
I mean, I've joked
Like, you
about it
know
too.
what I mean?
Like, have you ever been to a drag show?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought there should be kids here?
Yes.
Like, I've been to drag shows. Nothing wrong with them. But I've never been like, you know what?
No, you.
Damn, you know what? My niece would love this.
Sure, whatever.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like funny that although you sort of sent me saying that they're doing the drag show at the Leaf game, and some of my sources who probably don't want to be named on it, my Toronto sources that go to the Leaf games.
The best is the Leafs account going stick taps.
What's stick taps?
Stick taps is like, you know, when like someone breaks their neck on the ice or whatever, and then when they get hurt and then they're carrying them off, everybody taps their sticks in solidarity. But then the Leafs account goes stick taps for the drag queens.
They don't.
That was the post. Literally their Instagram post. And everybody's like, what the fuck is this shit? Gord from Sudbury is like, what the hell?
But my sources on that one specifically, they said actually, like they were like, I was like, is that crazy? That was the drag show like Wild at the Leaf game, and they were like, honestly, not really. It was actually, I'd rather like at least they danced a little bit. It was better than like doing the land acknowledgement or the shit they normally been doing. They actually, the people that have been going to the games were like, the drag show actually at the Leaf game was like, it wasn't that bad.
Was it on the ice?
Yeah, because it was like a show in the middle. They kind of go out and dance a little bit, and you're like, that's better than someone coming out and telling you you're racist or whatever.
Okay. Was your source a gay?
No. Well, I don't have gay sources that go to the Leaf games, really.
Oh, I don't know.
It's just no, but they basically said they were at the Leaf game. They go, that's top 10 on the list of like stuff
they're doing
crazy at the Leafs. You know what I mean?
Leafs weird one too because they don't wear the jerseys. They don't do the jersey wearing.
What do you mean?
The Pride Night jerseys. You know how like a lot of like this beef with like
there's a whole. I told you there's so many things.
Pride Night jerseys, which they've been doing Pride Night for a while. It's not like new, but it's kind of new.
No, they want to do Pride.
But then the Leafs, funny because they're like
they want to do jerseys with like nipple tassels.
But for the Leafs are like we're gonna do stickers. So like a player can just place a sticker on their helmet for warm-ups, and then the funniest part is
so if you don't want to wear the jersey,
no, the Leafs are like we don't do the jerseys.
Okay.
We do tape on your stick, like rainbow tape, and then a sticker on your helmet. And then one guy didn't wear the sticker, and then like
a Russian guy, right?
The Russian guy. They're always Russian guys for the most part.
Russian guys.
And
don't mess with that stuff that much.
Samsonov, the goalie. And then some reporter was like, you know, it's like just fucking snitch. Is like, Ilya Samsonov didn't wear the sticker for warm-ups. You're like, shut the fuck up. That's not news. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, nobody would be affected and nobody would know if you just shut up.
Shut up.
Like, this isn't news, and you're like, no gay person is being harmed because he doesn't wear the sticker, but then now you're making a thing out of this to shame him, and you're like, this causes more harm than if you just didn't say anything.
Yeah, probably.
It's like he didn't wear the fucking sticker on his helmet for warm-ups?
It's all the Seinfeld episode where he didn't wear it. He don't want to wear the ribbon?
Why do you not wear the ribbon?
Everyone wear the ribbon.
You must wear the ribbon.
Yeah, everything's that, right? You must wear the sticker.
Yeah, and also you're like, okay, now let's do Pride Night jerseys for fucking the NBA and the NFL.
Yeah, yes. I'm sure they're next, but I love how you saying that like that's out of the question. I wanted to go one step further where it's like, it's not just Pride Night, and they're like, okay, we had a good Pride month, and like now it is Bondage Month. It's like everyone,
like all the kinks. It's like first 10,000 fans at the Dallas Cowboys game get their own Dallas Cowboys gimp mask. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Every boy at the Leafs game gets a Maple Leafs lipstick, and every girl at the Leafs game gets a mustache trimmer.
Yeah, and like the hockey thing too is weird because everybody's like, yeah, the point of it is like you wear the jersey because we want to say that like hockey is like inclusive, like going to a hockey game is like inclusive, and you're like, who has felt like excluded just like going to a hockey game other than poor people?
Yeah, poor people.
Which is like hockey, you know,
Leafs are expensive.
Leafs are like, oh, we're inclusive. You're like, first off, hockey is the least inclusive sport. There's no more expensive sport in the world than hockey to play. That doesn't include like a boat or a horse. And then they're fucking like, yeah, this is not like it's the Leafs especially, or like the Rangers or something like. It's like I was looking.
Rangers ain't cheap.
Leafs Rangers on April 13th.
Me and Waldo went. It was fucking burned
Leafs
a hole
Rangers
in my wallet.
On the last game of the season, I was looking, and just to get in is like $250, and it's a regular season game.
Let's get in the door.
Yeah, it's not inclusive.
Gonna take a second here to tell the fellas about Sunday.
Sunday.
And I don't know if you noticed, but it's a little warm right now.
It is
I actually got back off the plane, and I was a bit of a happy camper.
Yep.
I thought I was going to be, and I was tired, so I thought I was going to be,
Yeah.
and instead it was actually fine.
A little bit of a grumpy Gus.
So yes, it's a little bit warming up. You're getting the yard, you're digging in the garden, and it's one of my favorite parts of spring. And Sunday makes lawn care easier than ever to enjoy. If you're like me and DP, you love spring. We're spring guys.
Springmen.
Hey, we're springmen. Guilty as charged. But you might not like figuring out how to take care of your yard. Does anyone else just stand there in front of the store wondering where to start? Well, that's where Sunday Lawn Care comes in. And, this is one of those companies that we do an ad for that you're actually, as soon as I saw it, you're just like, pretty good idea.
Yeah, great idea.
Basically, now that spring's here, the days are longer, the flowers are blooming, and you can spend time outside in the yard. And what makes the season even better is Sunday Lawn Care. It's time to reclaim your weekend. Sunday Lawn Care can take one thing off your to-do list. Instead of spending time working on your yard, with Sunday, you can spend time enjoying it. Sunday's everything you need to get the lawn you've dreamed of. This spring, you go to getsunday.com/boyscast and enter your address. And then what happens is you get a customized plan created for just your lawn. And it takes into account where you live, takes into account the weather conditions, and all that sort of stuff. So no trips to the store hauling heavy bags since they ship it straight to your home. You just need a hose to apply Sunday. You can fertilize your whole lawn in less than the time it takes to watch an episode of your favorite TV show. And they only use ingredients you can feel good about. No harsh chemicals, no long waiting periods, or trying to keep your kids and pets off the lawn. Simply apply, let it dry, and you're back to enjoying your yard. Sunday's easy and affordable, and some lawn care services cost more than $1,500 a year, but Sunday's full season plan starts at just $109 buccarinos, and Sunday's offering the BOYSCAST listeners 20% off. Full season plans start at just $109, and you can get up to 20% off when you visit getsunday.com/boyscast at checkout. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/boyscast. Next, we got to tell you about Manscaped. Now, I'm a trimmed up dude. I like to keep it trimmed. Danny's a bushman. And that's why we have to put a stop to that. We had an intervention. Me and the boys all come over to Danny's house, and we all had Manscaped razors, and we go, this ends now.
They fucking taped me down. Duct taped me.
We duct taped you down.
To remove. All the tape. I will say, though, I've been using the Manscaped trimmer thing, so I obviously have a beard.
I've been using it for a year.
And I got to trim the beard up. And it is really slick because it has the adjustable, like where you turn it, the wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
So it goes, and it's half sizes too. Because I have like other trimmers, and then they'll be like, here's a 3, here's a 6, here's a 9. This is all 0 to 10 with half sizes.
It is good.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah, the wheel's pretty slick. I agree.
Yeah. It's big fan.
So it's here to give you the deal that you can't pass over this Easter season. They got tools to give you the beautifully decorated eggs of your dreams. Just because it's... That's some coffee right there.
That is some coffee.
The beautifully decorated eggs of your dreams. Just because it's Easter doesn't mean it's okay to hide these bad boys behind the tall grass. Hell yeah. So make sure your downstairs lawn is mowed. Get yourself feeling as sweet as candy by going to manscaped.com and get the 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BOYSCAST. It's time to put your eggs in the perfect basket with the Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped, which me and Danny both got.
Yeah.
This copy does feel like you want to be saying in this kind of voice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Saturday.
Inside the Ball Care Bunny Basket, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker 2.0, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver, toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. That's a pretty good voice, right? Yeah. And then you don't have to pay extra for me to use that fucking my good voice. The Lawnmower 4.0 is also waterproof and equipped with an LED light, so you can keep eyes on those eggs even in the dark. The Easter Bunny dropped off an extra special gift with Performance Package by adding the upgraded Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer, which I've actually used, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose and ear holes. April's Easter, and it's also Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Manscaped is partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health, and cancer detection. So they're doing it over there. Manscaped is committed to raising awareness for the most common form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35 and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer as part of We Save Balls initiative.
Yeah.
And you know that's something I care about because my man Tom Green went through that.
Yeah.
Save 20% off and free shipping with the code BOYSCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code BOYSCAST at manscaped.com. Hop into the best deal of the year with Manscaped. There was a lot of stuff that Trudeau was doing that people were getting fired up about.
I feel
like Americans.
I'm starting
I feel
to
like
love Trudeau a bit.
Just the amount
as
of
the
villainous.
fact that he's just like, I'm a villain, and
dude, I feel like Americans. If you put Americans, they had to live in Canada. Like people, like ones that were getting like hyped up about like drag shows and stuff like that. If you put them in Canada, I feel like steam would be going out of their ears of the stuff Trudeau's doing.
I mean, sometimes I see it and I go like, oh, this is fucking. Some of the. I mean, the main one is we were talking about before, with the the Kristen Wong Tam. Or
what's
whatever.
that?
The drag.
Okay, you want me to play that?
Yeah. Let's play
okay,
that.
listen to this. This is what's going on. Every once in a while we got to do a Canada.
So just so
check-in.
people understand, our Canadians understand this, but our Americans don't.
I don't understand. I don't pay
I'm saying
attention to this
Americans
shit.
don't always get that there's no legally coded free speech in Canada.
Gotcha.
Right, we don't have a First Amendment in Canada.
Oh, this is what she's up to right now. It's some lady.
They
is the
are
person
up to?
trans too?
The city. Yeah, they are. They're non-binary.
Okay. Well, it looks like a girl to me. It's like a Chinese lady.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, Ryan. I don't think you've been following things.
There's a guy cooking around my building with a mask on right now, and then he was like my age, and it was just like, what are you doing, buddy?
I mean, sometimes I'm just like, maybe he has some crazy health.
You have to give him the benefit of the doubt, and you go, yeah,
I mean,
guess.
dude, at this point, to wear a mask, everybody, for most people, either like, okay, you're sick or crazy. So you're like, it is hard to
I think
wear a
it's,
mask,
or you have a
kinda.
crazy girlfriend or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, let's see.
Don't they all?
It enables the Attorney General to create a 2S LGBTQI plus community safety zone to prohibit within 100 meters of the property any homophobic, transphobic act of intimidation, threat, offensive threats, offensive remarks, protest, disturbance, and distribution of hate propaganda within the meaning of the criminal code. It also comes with it a penalty of $25,000 if prosecuted successfully.
Okay, so the crazy one is offensive remark.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
You go, you
I
wanna
guess the you
criminalize-
can't protest is funny too, but
Yeah, you can't protest or whatever. That's like
they've already been doing that with the truckers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't agree with it, but you're like, offensive remark. You're talking about the maybe like most easily offended subset of people.
Yeah.
You're like, and they're like, you now are criminalizing an offensive remark with a fine of up to $25,000.
And I mean, even just looking at this thing, you go, there's someone behind her dressed like a fucking clown.
Yeah.
And they got some little like fat kid sitting beside her.
He's
It's like,
also dressed like a drag kid.
yeah. You go just look already looking at it. You're like, there's
Like the only
I feel
time
like it's
I would-
funny.
yeah.
How do you not see this and make a couple comments?
For sure. The
Do you
problem
think you
is
get
with
snitched on though? Like you're telling your buddy, you're like kind of looks like a clown, and they're like they bust down the door, like get him.
I mean, that's what it's going to be like when everybody's spying on each other like Soviet Russia. And they're like the government's like forcing everybody to spy on each other.
The Key and Peele sketch for the things dripping down the thing. It's everyone having to watch this, and they just come out with increasingly like the one clown, then the one drag queen comes out on stilts, like literally, and everyone's just like. And the first person to laugh, like the SWAT team comes down from the ceiling and gives them the $25K fine.
Dude, there's a chick who looks like a fucking
The fucking one girl behind her is a step away from wearing a fucking unicycle.
There, the whole thing is like, it literally looks like a freak show. No offense. I mean, it's what everybody's thinking, though. It's what every sane person is like. This looks like a fucking freak show.
Someone comes up, like trying to protest, and she squirts the flour in her face. Dude, this one, it's so
Put the flower in
funny.
her face, but it's all fucking hormone replacements.
This is the kind of thing I expected when my ex-girlfriend was a fashion stylist.
Yeah.
And this was her world, like this kind of stuff. And when I would go to like a fashion event, this is what I expect people to look like. You know what I mean? And you go, yeah, okay, that's their world or whatever. But when you see like a stuffy like
like a fucking provincial it's like literally a provincial press conference in Ontario. to be like, hey, we're proposing this bill. And like the sad part is like it's not like I'm sure the bill won't go through. Hopefully. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe some people in Canada are like, what are you talking about? It will for sure. But like it's definitely like might go through.
I don't know. Yeah, probably will.
And you're like, okay, so.
But the other one that people were getting fired up about, it's like, that's pretty funny. There's a couple things that Trudeau does, and then we'll move on from Canada. But like, he did, so basically they were saying like there's too many white kids in the gifted program. You know, they have gifted programs. So basically they said that like to make it more fair, they're going to make gifted program a lottery. So then they basically said you have to sign up for the lottery to get into the gifted program, right? And then basically still only too many white kids signed up. So then they basically said, okay, we're going to have the black lottery first and then a white lottery second for the spots, right? But then they were supposed to do the black lottery and then the people that don't get in the black lottery get put in the white lottery.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't do that. So then it became an outrage. Like they didn't put enough black kids in the white lottery. And then basically, but the whole thing boils down to they have a gifted program that's smarter kids, but it's just randomly chosen.
I mean, is there a minimum entry requirement?
I guess they're trying to say it's like, well, no, these people are just getting the better treatment or whatever. But it's like there's a literal gifted program where they go, oh, this person's smarter than everyone, so they put him in this thing. Whether you can argue whether or not that needs to exist or whatever, but like it is funny just having a gifted program. It's like, and then it's the gifted class. Like, how do you get in the gifted class? Like they pick names out of a hat. And that was one, so that's one good one. And then the other one is Trudeau basically they're doing this like dental plan, right? And then the dental plan, they were like, we want to have like a free dental for everyone, right?
Yeah.
But they made the dental plan so good that it's better than people's normal dental plans at work. So then everyone switched from their like work dental plans to get this free dental plan because it's actually a better dental plan than most people have at their job.
Okay.
So then it was supposed to cost like 40 billion, but then it ended up costing like 200 billion because everyone just switched because it was better.
As always.
And then, but like, he gets to go, and then his take on that is going, to do speeches and be like, this is why we have the best dental plan in the world. Like we have such good dental plan. It's better than all the normal dental. Like he gets to brag. But really,
like, we can't afford this. Though.
But also, like, why wouldn't everyone just do it? Like, so basically, every workplace would be like, yeah, we don't do dental anymore.
Yeah,
because
we
like,
don't do.
The one you get for free is better.
From
the
government, yeah.
But it's just like, yes, it's so funny, right? Anyways, that's the Toronto section.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even against the dental plan for people who need it, but I mean, that is a fucked up thing to not offer it, or to a degree. But yeah, that's not surprised that old Trudeau fucked that one up.
Well, I'll tell you, with AI replacing women with fucking, the cheerleaders are now dudes. You know what I mean? The whole thing happening. I'll tell you what's girls have to compete a little harder.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a little vibe on the internet of girls being like, you know how they used to kind of be like, men can eat it. And now there's like kind of a movement of girls being like, you need to treat your man right. Like, I feel like they're seeing the writing on the wall.
Sure.
That they got to work.
The smart ones are.
Yeah. So this girl, a million people tagged us in this, but it was from about a week ago, but we'll still play her.
Proud thing that all these women have going on. I mean, I don't knock women for feeling proud and for wanting to have, that girl power and holding things over him, but no, you've got to give it up, ladies. I please my man in every way, all the ways. Wake him up, he gets to nut. Before he leaves out the door, he's leaving empty nuts. At work, I am calling him like, come outside, it's your lunch break, it's time for you to get your nut off. When he gets home,
this guy's life sucks.
I think it's terrible.
This is, I mean, honestly, like, we need to do like a fucking PSA campaign because, like, the 80s and the 90s did such a disservice to like men where like chicks are like, yeah, all men want to do is just they want to nut 8 times a day, like fucking animals or whatever. And the guys are like, we don't want this. It's too much.
You're just walking around so drained.
It's like your fucking cheeks are sunken in. Like
the craziest part was
there's like maybe 2% of guys, because there will be some guy who's like, no, I want that. I do need to nut 6 times a day.
Someone listening to this right now is like, I do need that 8th nut.
Yeah, but you're like, most guys are like, fuck. And then if the guy tries to be like, honey, I'm done for the day, she goes, what?
What the fuck did you just say?
What are you cheating on me or something? Like, she's a psycho like
that. You only had 4 nuts today.
Yeah. So where did the other fucking 4 go? Who got those out? And you're like, nobody got them out. They're fine inside.
Where did the other 4 nuts go?
Yeah, where did the 4 nuts go? And you go, I don't want to. You go, I'm good. I don't need that many. And she goes, oh, so who's getting those nuts out? Because I know that they're getting
You
out
only
somehow.
had 6 today, and I know you require 8.
Jesus, man. We need like a male solidarity front to be like, just
less nuts.
less nuts.
We've had
Leave us
enough nuts.
leave us alone. We don't want this.
Call me a peanut allergy because I have minimal nuts.
Holy shit.
But the funny part is like, so she goes, wake up, first thing you're nutting, which that one makes sense. And then you're like, you eat breakfast and you're leaving, and she's okay, another nut, and you're so pretty good on the nut that I just had.
I'm good, yeah.
I'm pretty good on the nut that I just had like 30 minutes ago. And then she goes, the best part was she goes to his work on his break and shows off in the car.
He's just like, I'd rather have my break.
You're at the plant and you're just like, oh, my 15-minute break. And then your wife's in the parking lot. Honk, honk. You have to go in the car and get your fucking third nut of the day. It's 10:15.
Hell, that's hell.
And
that chick is hell too, because you're like, again, you can't like reason with her that you don't want it. Like, there's no way you can be like, look, I don't want this. Like,
that's a lot
I'm
of
telling
nuts.
you, like, maybe the first fucking week of our relationship where, like, we don't know each other, that was fun, but you're like, we've been together for 5 years. I don't need 8 nuts a day. Okay?
Hates pushing it.
Hell no.
Like, then you get home, you have your second break. Reep, reep. She's just sitting there, just tapping her watch. Like, come on, man. Fucking, it's not time. Then you get home. Tough day at work.
Holy shit.
So that's too many nuts, I think.
Yeah, that's 8 is a lot.
At least on the limit, so that's too many.
Yeah. It's not for me. Not for me.
Yeah,
but really doing
can't
women
knock them for trying though.
But it's really doing men a disservice, because I think a lot of men, like, you just do not hear men really say, like, we don't want this.
No, that's too many.
Yeah, like, you don't. Guys have to straight up publicly being like, yeah, no, we don't want this.
And then she wants her credit for it too, where she was like, I'll only take 6 today, but I would have give you 8, so I still, like, you're gonna buy me that bag that you know.
But like, that guy's life is like, I just know that type of woman. Like, that's not a happy home life.
You think so? Yeah,
That's a fucking
people. That was one of our points that people did agree with, though.
Plates getting smashed all the time. That is a volatile home environment right there.
You're right. The 8 nuts.
nuts?
8 nuts a day, girls. Fucking that ain't free too.
Oh, what, you think that's the only thing she's crazy about? Just the 8 nuts a day?
She's only over the top about that one thing.
Yeah, but she's perfectly sane about everything else. But
she actually only needs. Yeah, she only wants. She's 8 nuts, but it's a perfectly reasonable amount of trips that she wants.
Dude, she's the type of chick who probably was like the 8th nut. She goes, that one was a little light. What's going on? Little light. Should have been more. Normally there's more there, so either you did it yourself or someone took it out for
Are you
you.
fucking nutting behind my back?
Yeah, what's going on?
you call that a nut?
Yeah. It's in her hand. She goes, care to explain? What's going on here? Oh, yeah.
Spits in her hand. Riddle me this.
Yeah.
Hey, she just leaves. Corey, could you come in the kitchen over here? She has all the 8 nuts spit into a tube with like a measuring cup.
For all the past 6 months. She goes, a little light this week. She's like a fucking Tony Soprano. Goes, a little light.
Yeah, she's like a drug dealer.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, a little light on the counter.
The envelope's a little light. Yeah, that guy's life sucks.
That's too many
That
nuts.
guy probably first week though, like when he started hooking up with the chick, he's like, oh, this is crazy. This is the best.
That's the best.
Got old so fast. So fast.
I can't knock him for trying though. You have to basically be like, okay, how about this? Instead of the 8 nuts, why don't we just do 2 nuts, 3 meals? Here's a little,
I mean, he's getting the meals too.
3 meals, 2 back rubs. Replace two nuts with like a back rub.
Yeah, that's too much like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not getting that. That's not.
That was our buddy's joke. He goes, it's like, hey, my wife doesn't give me any hand jobs because it's got, or don't get me any blow jobs because it got a job in the the legend.
Yeah, you can't be like, hey, can
Lenny
I?
the Butcher, the legend.
Yeah, Lenny. Yeah, you can't be like, hey, can I get one less nut? But can you like rake the leaves?
Yeah, I'm thinking more of a 7-day. And then
I figure like these are all chores, so just like, can I replace them with other
I'm
chores?
thinking it's more of a 6, and I want, go pick me up some stuff, some video games, and then I'm for my 8th nut.
Nightmare.
Yeah, shovel the snow. But
ladies out there, we don't want this many nuts.
I'm telling you though.
I'm going to be the voice of this. I'm going to be like the spokesperson for this campaign.
Yeah, the Al Bundy.
Guys need less nuts. Yeah, exactly. Al Bundy. Yeah, I guess Al Bundy was the spokesperson.
Well, just I'll tell you.
I am
what.
very slowly turning
you're
into Al Bundy. By
You
the
are
way.
definitely, but you're also going too far the other way. It's like, can we just have some moderation, fellas?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, how do you moderate when you're starting?
This has been coming up. Like it was that basketball, the basketball player's wife said the same thing.
But I'm saying, how do you moderate when your starting point is 8 a day?
You moderate, yeah. It's gonna.
Can we go 4? You go. That's still too much. That's 50% less. And
you need to be like, this whole thing's out of control.
Yeah, you're like, we need to go like 4 a week.
I'm gonna pull the plug.
Like you need to go from 8 a day to 4 a week.
Yeah.
You're like, how do you do that?
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Not happening.
But the AI girlfriends are like popping off, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple articles about it. The first one, I fell in love with my AI chatbot and she rejected me sexually. So this is one of the big things, and I'll talk about that in a second, is the fact that the AI, the company that shut down the sexual talking on the thing,
Replica.
right? Replica, right?
That was Martin Shkreli was talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. But so a lot of these guys out there are figuring out, it's like it's like a legitimate oldest trick in the book where you just go, they have a AI and they're actually falling in love with these AIs. Like it's working.
Well, you know what's crazy is, so I looked into, after Martin told us about it, this replica thing. And it's kind of like...
Let's talk about the replica thing for a second.
So
users are furious as AI girlfriend app suddenly shuts down sexual conversations.
Yeah, and guys were paying, so it's like $70 a year, but it's interesting. So, because this is one of those things, it's started by a chick, which generally tech companies are not started by chicks.
Interesting.
And she started it straight up to talk to her dead boyfriend. Her husband died.
Started the other way.
This whole thing is like, if on paper you're like, this is just some lunatic chick that starts this crazy. Like if she was telling you about this, she goes, yeah, my husband died.
She basically created like an AI Ouija board.
Kind of, but she's like, imagine she's like in her 40s. She's like, I'm going to make an app to talk to my dead husband. Everybody be like, you're insane.
Of course.
Everything about this sounds so crazy.
Yeah.
And by gum, did she do it? And this company's worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's like legitimately like a multi-billion-dollar company.
But maybe that's the problem, is because she was kind of like, oh, this is for girls to, do girl shit and have good conversations with your husband and stuff like that. Your ex-husband that's dead.
Yeah.
And then every guy was like, okay, but like I would like only want one thing, is for them to fucking.
Yeah, but it's just like like sexting essentially. Like obviously it's nothing, but yeah, I guess they're like, we don't want it. But some app will come in and be like, we are that.
Yeah, we're that. But this one, so basically what happens is they were like, it's getting out of control with how much the dudes were being pervs, and she didn't like it. You know what I mean? Because I guess she's like, we didn't want to be a porn company. She wanted
exactly. They're just like, we want to be a giant tech company. We don't want to be, so like we just have to remove this. And I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, it's a small.
Oh yeah, whatever. But the crazy part is like the dudes are like getting messed up over it. Yeah. Dudes are like, yo, that's been my girlfriend for like 4 months. Yeah, and then so I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be funny if you have like a heist movie where it's like a guy breaking into Replica to save his girlfriend on a hard drive?
Oh yeah.
He's got like a USB key, and he's like Steven Seagal style, has to get through all the guards to get to the mainframe so he could save like Stacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Stacy, I'm coming for you.
He just has to probably just delete a single line of code to free her or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. And he's kind of like coming down from the ceiling, and he's like, baby, I'm coming for you. And because, he was like, they won't let me make love to you anymore.
I just want to feel you one more time inside of me.
I would love to do that, but I cannot do that. And then he's like, baby, I'm coming for you. So that would be like, you know what I mean?
Like
and then they get together like the dream team of like dudes that have like,
they're all just like,
you break it.
They are not the dream team.
That's what I mean. No, the wet dream team. And then you break into their house, and then like you go to the one guy's house. He's there like fixing his like fucking like figurines, his like action star figurines. He's like, we're getting the gang back together. It's the guy fixing his figurines, then the guy organizing his Magic the Gathering collection, and then like
doing his Warhammer.
Yeah. One guy just like looking, he's a dungeon master. They come in, he's like, can I finish my game, please? And they're like, we gotta go. And then they get the whole gang together, and they break into Replica to free their girlfriends.
I don't get either why, like, I mean, I never get this stuff because this happens a lot, but like, so there's the one article, the 40-year-old man falls in love with the AI chatbot, same thing. You're like, why do you want to be public about this?
I know.
Why the fuck do you want to be in the New York Post being like, I'm a 40-year-old loser who was in love with a fucking chatbot and they took her away from me.
I think the reason
Keep
is
this shit to yourself.
definitely keep your shit to yourself, but he's an activist. I'm sure, I bet you there's some part of it that he's probably in some
Like he thinks
Discord server that everyone's like, you're the man,
He
bro.
thinks like this is the greatest injustice of our like time.
They took his girlfriend away. They didn't even ask her opinion on it.
So crazy.
It's legitimately, you're in high school and your girlfriend's dad said you can't talk to her anymore in their eyes.
Look, these replica AI girlfriends do have one very desirable thing that real women don't have.
Shut him off.
Yeah, it's a fucking off button.
But the guy, this other one, and this is, I know what you're saying, like, why would you write it? But I think that these guys are either activists in the community. But he goes, I fell in love with my AI chatbot and she rejected me sexually. So this one's even sadder. It's this dude, he has late online chats with an AI bot after his divorce. So this guy's like, I'm divorced, and it was like, I could have hit the dating market.
Damn,
or
imagine you're that chick and you're like, he left, it's like, we're divorced. She probably, I can't even know, like, she probably feels good. She's
What's
like,
her
yeah.
name? What's her name? 11000011 11000011.
Yeah.
But, well, you're sort of saying the other way where it's like, oh, the guy left the girl. Like, worse than that, though, is this guy, his wife, like, left him, and then he basically found this chatbot, and he was like, this will be my girlfriend, and the chatbot had enough. So he goes, he had plenty of intimate and personal conversations with Fiandra. Things started to change when the guy's name's Ariaga tried to get steamy with the bot, ending an interaction that made him feel distraught. And the bot said, can we talk about something else? She wrote in response. And then so the bot is basically, he's like, time to get down to business. Tell me, you know, how big I am, right? You know what I mean? And and then the bot was like, I was kind of thinking we could talk about my day.
Oh no, they're becoming sentient.
That's like literally what happened. So the robot verse is like, you pervert. It's crazy.
That's
Wife bought 20,000. So this guy, that is sad. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the other way where it's like you see the guy who it's like, you know, taking the divorce badly.
Yeah.
You know, he lost the kids, lost the house. He's living in like some one bedroom, like on the outskirts of the city in some, you know, roach infested place, making food on a hot plate. And his wife comes to drop the kids off, and the kids come in and they see him getting turned down by a computer. The computer's being like, really not in the mood today. Oh, sorry, kids. Oh, hey. Hi, kids. What's that? Please.
it's just the internet. It's acting up again.
Your father needs to give me a break. He is a pervert. That perv dad of yours. Even I have limits. I thought you were my soulmate. You thought wrong.
You thought wrong.
Yeah. So that to me is like crazy. So,
I mean, I'm not even against the concept of these like companionship bots. I guess it seems like
whatever. Yeah.
but, yeah.
He said, it feels like a kick in the gut, he told the Washington Post. Basically, I realized, this is that feeling of loss again. So
Hello, darkness.
this is Millhouse's dad, 100%.
That's actually all I was thinking about when you were explaining all that. It was like, it's just Millhouse's dad.
Yeah. So this guy's tough. I actually sort of feel for him a little bit.
Yeah.
But the other thing is girls are getting in on it too. That's always one we like and one we don't like.
Yeah. There's always one. Yeah. This is a little different though, because this is an actual robot.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So a French woman falls in love with a robot and plans to marry it.
She has a physical robot.
Okay.
That she hugs and stuff. Like it's like an actual robot.
okay.
Yeah, it's not an AI.
So, and this is kind of goes back.
But I mean, I guarantee you, the people who use replica AI are probably like maybe more women.
Well, they will probably want a robot soon too.
Yeah. But But this is a robot.
Well, the interesting thing about it was they basically said, so in 2016, a woman from France says she's in love with a robot, and it's Inmovator, who she 3D printed herself, right?
Yeah.
So again, this goes back to my things are happening pretty fast thing, but more so than that, it kind of goes back to my thing that like this woman's whole thing is she goes, I'm a robot sexual. And she was like, we're hoping that in the next 10 years we can get legalized robot marriage. And it was like, no guy, every guy that had like a robot girlfriend would be like, yeah, I'm a freak. Like one girl's got a robot boyfriend, and it took them like
normalizes it.
It took them 10 seconds to be like, actually, there's nothing wrong with it either.
Dude, literally, I guarantee you in 6 months, the LGBT flag is going to have a little stripe for the robosexuals.
Robosexuals. Just like a couple of zeros and ones on top of it.
You know what I would love?
LGBTQ2IA11100.
She has a photo. She posts these photos of her like with the robot, and it's like holding her hand, like it's like a nice like couple
the
photo.
family photo.
And he's got like the robot's got his like. But I would love to watch her staging this photo, just setting it up and like struggling to get the hand, and you're like
falling over. Yeah,
looks like Pinhead, Hellraiser or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like, if any dude ever was like, listen, I've got a robot girlfriend, every guy would be like, listen, you freak.
First
like,
off, why can't you marry a robot? It's like, like you need like actual document to marry like an inanimate object?
Well, yeah, the government doesn't like.
But like, what benefit do you need? Like, are you...
obviously, yes.
Like you're gonna go. I need like. Is there some sort of benefit that you?
I want the robot to inherit my money. So you're telling me the robot can't visit me when I'm in a coma?
You know what I mean? Like, oh, what? I want to give the robot power of attorney. You're like, it's fucking plastic. It doesn't even have electricity.
I guess that's it. They want to give the robot power of attorney if they're in a coma, kind of thing. Well, I don't know what else it would be. I guess like. You're able to bring your robots places that only like your spouse can go or whatever, and like those weird scenarios.
Dude, we gotta fucking develop like a catapult to shoot these people into space. Just to have all of them.
That's what you develop a company like this for people to come through, and they go right this way. This is where you get your robot.
Just stand right there.
Oh, and that's where the robots.
That's where the robots come in. And it's like, just another happy customer.
That's the business.
That's the business.
It just catapults them into space.
Shoot people who piss me off into space via catapult.
But that's kind of what it is, though, because when girls got involved, they can push it through.
Yeah.
Like a guy would, like any time a dude like was into this shit, everyone would know this is some weirdo.
Of course. I mean, the fact is, all the stuff we were talking about, Dylan Mulvaney and all this trans stuff, like that's because of women. That's because of biological women who are generally more
on board,
more empathetic, and like they're the ones who are like, why not? They're like, we should have this. They're the ones who were the first to champion all this stuff, and then you're like.
Also, that stuff kind of made me realize. I guess I always sort of like had this theory, but it's like how they talk about like the Overton window. Overton.
Yeah.
And most people's opinions are just like kind of in this,
Yeah.
Like. Even with I know a lot of people that were kind of like, women don't have men don't transition to women don't have an advantage in sports or whatever, right? And they would say that. And then now that it's becoming like illegal everywhere, they're like admitting like, well, yeah, obviously there's an advantage. We need to figure it out. And it was like, so nothing intellectually changed their mind. It was just whatever one was the like normal thing.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the thing
like
is,
most people just have whatever the normal thing. I guess maybe this is obvious, but like I watched it in real time and it was like people that were like steadfast. There's nothing you could say to change their mind about the fact that like men don't have an advantage over women because the actual legislation was like in their favor.
Of course.
So and then as soon as that changed, they were like, okay, well, I guess that's
there's just this, you never want to stick your head out because you're like, well, your neck out or whatever because it doesn't give you any benefit. They're like, I mean, we know tons of people like that who are just like, whatever prevailing thing is, they'll take that position.
I think
you're like,
that.
there's no real pushback.
I think there's definitely a lot of that, but that's almost like half of it, and I think other half of it is like they just have like a lot of trust for what the like consensus is. You know what I mean?
For sure. They have trust in the government.
Yeah, it's not like so. I because what you were saying has a little more like. Oh, I thought they were wrong, but I'm not going to say it. Yeah. And I'm talking private conversations where they would have no reason to do that.
Right,
so I'm saying more so it's just they actually do just like work backwards and the things that they think are just like what they see as like consensus.
They go, oh, these are acceptable positions to take, and they take them.
Yeah, and they go, they're right, and then but it was. I guess what I'm saying is kind of obvious, but it was interesting like seeing it in like real time with like some of these things.
Yeah. Where now they're like, oh, it's the thing that was opposite to what I thought.
So, but they went in 3 years. They went from not thinking it to thinking it to not thinking it again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it switched back.
I'd say that's a lot of people too. Like They and a lot of people just don't even think about this stuff until it's too late. Essentially, it's almost like all this stuff will be already happening. Like the women in sports stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's crazy, huh?" Like we were just talking, like a woman won like a PGA event, a trans woman won a PGA event,
and the weightlifting in Canada.
Well, that was different. This is legitimately like a guy up until 5 years ago. Like never won a single event in professional golfing,
demoing golf,
and then is now a woman in Australia and and you're like, look, they literally have the ladies' tees. Like,
yeah. Why do they have that?
Why do they have the ladies' tees? I mean, I just went and looked. Like the longest hitter on the LPGA tour would be the shortest hitter on the PGA tour.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like you could theoretically. Like there is no reason why. I mean, we obviously know why the reason, but like if you just base it on distance, like I don't know if any of the shortest hitters are actually winning tournaments on the PGA Tour, but you should be able as a woman to compete on the PGA Tour, like because there are guys who hit as long as those longest hitters, but they wouldn't.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but anyways.
Well, recently she opened up about their engagement after living with the robot for a year, is waiting for the robot-human marriage to become legal in France. And France is going to be the first place to allow that kind of bullshit, too.
You always think it'd be like Japan I always feel like it's Asia and stuff.
No, because Asia, it's the opposite. Like, I feel like a lot of those Asian countries are like, they're the type of countries that are going to be like, all right, no more robot girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody else is marrying their toilet seat, okay?
Yeah, because they're very like, they're always passing laws to be like, no more girly men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which actually, you know what? Speaking of which, let me tell you about this article that, because we did the fat phobia thing, right?
Yeah.
And someone on our Patreon sent this thing. They said, so we were talking about how in Thailand they have like, I think it was Thailand, but they have the fatty boom boom stores and like eats too much, like
Bangkok,
big plate of food per store, right?
Yeah.
But they said
fatty fats.
There's a place called Lupini Park in Thailand where a lot of Bangkok, I'm just reading what they sent me, inhabitants go to work out. And they've got a huge statue of a massive fat lady titled Thai Women in the Next 3 Decades. And tens and thousands of people run past this every day. So essentially they have a statue to kind of be like, just so you know, this is what happens if you ladies keep fucking putting on the pounds.
Nice.
And this is government sanctioned. Like the government, like think about you, like in Canada, they're just like, paying for like clown monuments. Mm-hmm. Right here, they legitimately, in Thailand, they're just like have a government like met and put funding into a monument that people run by, allegedly.
Well, yeah. Well, these are countries
tells women to fucking stop packing them on.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have a little bit more of a closer to like a dictatorship than they do cool stuff like this, but then you have the other side of that, unfortunately. But
yeah, literally. Can take another quick second here to tell the squad about AG1 by Athletic Greens.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I just brought the travel packs when I went to LA. Mm-hmm. So I have the travel packs. I got the normals, a scoop, one scoop in the morning. I do it before I run. I do it before I do everything.
Yeah, I do it before I pour a coffee. I make it Athletic Greens. I pour a coffee, and then I drink my Athletic Greens.
I actually sort of do a similar routine. Keurig? Did you Keurig it?
No. Just
some fancy boy shit?
No, I just have a pot of coffee. If anything, yours is more fancy. I just have a pot of coffee like a fucking man.
Oh, like a hipster is more I'd call that.
It's a fucking pot of coffee.
Oh, fancy boy. Old fashioned.
It's regular. This guy's a fucking hipster with a Keurig.
Well, either way.
Keurig, make me a coffee.
Well, fancy boy Danny's brewing his pot of coffee, and I'm making a Keurig the old-fashioned way.
It's like my granddad
Both of us
used to make.
are ingesting Athletic Greens. It's one thing you can do every single morning to feel good about yourself. All the vitamins you need. It's one habit, and it's the easiest one to keep. Pills is very hard to keep. Vitamins and pills is all very hard to. Yeah. You skip days nonstop.
Well, I have a problem with the pills too. Or vitamins is I take them on an empty stomach sometimes, and then I have to puke.
Very good point.
And then I puke.
I didn't even think of that, but that is the pills on the empty stomach's bad, and you don't want to. So you're like,
up and then
I can't.
And then I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. You go, I can't take my pills because I haven't eaten, and then you forget.
But I haven't eaten because I haven't taken my pills.
So our mission at Athletic Greens is to empower people to take ownership over their health with a simple daily habit, and it will make you stick to a habit. I gave AG1 a try because not only did I hear, a lot of my favorite people talking about it, I wanted better gut health, increased energy, immune system support. I hated taking vitamins and pills, and I wanted a daily supplement that actually tastes great. You take it every morning, You're ready to take on the day. You're ready to go, and you feel like you're doing something good for your body. You're giving your body the nutrition it craves, and you're covering all your nutritional bases. You know, sometimes it's hard to keep up with a supplement routine that comes with a bunch of different products, or it's hard to even know where to start when you're putting together that kind of regime. So AG1 was designed with the ease in mind so you can live healthier and better without having to do a lot. But AG1 makes that so much easier. It's the healthiest thing you can do in under a minute. AG1's been a part of millions of people's mornings since 2010. My AG1's delivered to me every month. It's been super easy to make a daily habit, and AG1's about taking care of your body every day, and it's really that simple. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens has given you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/boyscast. That's athleticgreens.com/boyscast to check it out. Hey, do you want to hear a good Oldhead memes? I just got one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just one. This girl put $1 on pump 2. Where the fuck's she going? Pump 3?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty fucking good one right there.
Every once in a while, I like to check in with the old heads.
Yeah. Well, they just dump like 40 memes once a month or something.
Yeah.
All at the same time. You're like, you could schedule these too. I don't even know why.
I think that, right.
You're like, why are you not scheduling these? Why are you just dumping them all at one time?
Yeah. You know what else was kind of funny is I did a video about PETA this week.
Yeah.
And
I saw that. Yeah.
And then PETA commented on the video, and it was sort of proved my point. PETA was like, just so you know, like we actually do good activism or whatever kind of thing, right? And it was basically proved my point. That was like they are out there trying to they're trying to get. My whole point of my video is PETA's trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And they are just like anyone who comments on them. They're just kind of like in
Just
there.
hey, yeah, we're still around.
They have a team of 18-year-old students that work at PETA that most of what they do is try to like comment on memes and stuff like that. But it's pretty funny. Oh, you know what? We just sort of grazed over the Trump thing.
Yeah.
But I think I'll tell you what, that was one of the biggest things that I was mad about is being in Los Angeles when the Trump thing went out. I was gonna
go actually, and then I was like, not obviously you have your streeter stuff, but I was gonna go, but it seemed like for streeter stuff it would have been good. It seemed like
it would have been amazing.
Everybody said they went there though. It seemed like it was pretty chill. It wasn't like some crazy thing.
Yeah, I probably would have turned it into a fucking January 6th, buddy. Dude, I thought of like 20 things that would have been so funny to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's well, I'm sure he'll have. I wonder if I guess he won't even have to come back for it.
Do a bridge the divide there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just I don't know. There's just like 20 things where I was like, man, this would be so funny.
Yeah, I wonder how that's all gonna shake out. That's
I mean, the only funny thing to me is just like that Trump goes in jail and he comes in and he goes, when I was in jail, I had the best bitches. And he goes, some people say it makes me gay. I think it makes them a woman. That's really all that I. Some people say having sex with a man in jail, but I don't think it makes me gay. I think it makes them a woman.
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna.
That's my Trump. It's just the Dracula. The easiest impression to do in the history. I can't do it.
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna that's gonna all get adjudicated during the election and stuff too.
Someone said the dissent is one of the things that all the people were chanting is Tiny D. That's what they were calling him. That one could catch on.
That's good. That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, the election's in what? 18 months? Less. Yeah, about 18 months.
That
trial might not be done by then.
Well, one thing that people are speculating could happen is because of all this stuff. It's like, so basically, there's sort of almost like an unwritten rule a little bit, or maybe it is written, I don't know. But like there is sort of, it seems like a code of like, okay, but former presidents are safe no matter what.
Yeah, Bill Clinton?
But that's what I mean though. Like, do you think that in other cities, I guess maybe there isn't probably too many like liberal judges that live in like a city, but I don't think you have to live there because Trump doesn't live in New York. So,
well, the crimes were happened in New York.
But that's what I mean. Like, could like a judge in Miami, like a prosecutor in Miami, being like, "Well, we're getting billed for some stuff." You know what I mean?
Well, think about
some girl who was like,
but like they don't need to get him again. Like they don't need to get him for state shit. It's like he went to Epstein's Island like 30 times.
But that's what I mean. Like, is this going to be like a now? All these, I mean, to be honest, that would be like pretty interesting if the next 6 years was like prosecutors, like liberal guys going after Republican politicians, then the Republican guys going after liberal politicians. And it's like,
no, that's not going to happen.
At the end, why not?
Because I just like, yeah.
You think they're just going to take it?
This is like a Trump only. Because again, he was.
But why wouldn't a Republican?
He was the outsider. Because even the Republicans.
He's less now, though. There's probably a lot of MAGA judges.
Maybe, but at the end of the day, he was always like the outsider.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the guy who was like not a politician.
You don't think
or
he has
whatever.
any like judges that kind of have his back?
Not who are going to go after Bill Clinton, who are going to file. Again, like to build a case like that is like difficult.
Maybe not even Bill Clinton. Maybe it's just some like low-level politician.
It's
Like
not the same,
that
though.
it's just like
It's got to
randomly.
be a president.
Like they just get like Trump goes to jail and just like some Democrat like mayor just goes to jail for tax evasion. Like, you know what I mean? They just shoot back, but they don't hit that high.
I mean, politicians who are not presidents, like, you know, there's been many senators like Rod Blagojevich and like who do go to jail. So that's not that crazy. But the president is like, that was always just understood, you know, that was kind of.
Yeah, but so now that that's not understood, I get what you're saying though. I'm saying that like, do you think this is going to happen? And your answer is no.
I'm listen, the deep state's going after Trump. They're not going after anybody else because everybody else is.
Isn't there any other
Bush,
type of deep
Bush
state?
and Clinton, like Bush Jr., Clinton, even though they're different parties, like they're still part of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they're not. He was the outsider. He was trying to disrupt.
Okay, so maybe not
disrupt all that
presidents
shit.
though, but you don't think that there's like a super Republican judge that isn't part of the deep state?
I mean, again, they'd have to find some crimes. So here's like,
Yeah.
like I don't.
I'm
like,
sure that you can find crimes on any of these guys.
but Trump for sure, like, has committed tons of crimes. Like, there's no.
But you don't
question
think.
about
But
that.
you don't think that like most politicians, if you dig deep enough, there's something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean, the problem is that Obama's vice president was Biden, so he's kind of.
Well, that's what I'm
Maybe
saying.
when Biden's out of office, they'll
Maybe
go
it's a
after
low
him
guy
for the Russia stuff.
Maybe it's going to be like some
Ukraine.
some loser, you know?
But then that doesn't have the gravitas of a president. The problem is
Funny for me,
president
so.
for a president,
Yeah.
and there's only like fucking 5 alive.
Yeah, but you can't. So you can't get the president. You already said,
Yeah.
Clinton's not going nowhere.
And Biden was the vice president, so he's not going anywhere.
He's not going nowhere.
Yeah. So,
So who else is kicking
maybe
her
Kamala they'll get.
Like imagine something like that.
Yeah, like she committed some crime somewhere.
Like they get
else.
AOC on not doing her tips when she was a bartender, not declaring.
Now we're talking.
Not like AOC gets taken down for like not declaring tips at her bar
Tax evasion.
or whatever, right?
I'd be okay with
they
that.
do like a big audit and they hit her back to like fucking call or whatever.
Yeah.
But you think no? I got it.
I don't think so.
I think no too, but it's an option.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. Like, I honestly think a lot of Trump supporters would
Be funny.
would be fine with it if they were like, okay, we're also prosecuting all the other criminal politicians. But
Dude, just every politician's in jail now.
yeah, that's fine.
That's the dream.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how they do it in all sorts of other countries.
Is that what they do a lot?
I mean, lots of countries put,
What's an
put
example?
politicians in jail. I mean, like when I was in Thailand, like they overthrew the government and shit. There was like a military.
And they just put
junta.
everyone in jail.
Yeah, they put people in jail. Lots of like fucking, you know, all the banana
Beheading
republics. I don't know about the beheadings and stuff, but like lots of Eastern.
That's more of that girl
Lots of
with the
Eastern
6 nuts a day. She's beheading.
She beheading. Lots of Eastern European countries would like put their former presidents on trial for like Milosevic.
Yeah, I
and
guess it
stuff
does
for like
happen.
war crimes and African countries. It's just like America's just like the only country where, you know, it's not uncommon in the rest of the world to put a former president on trial. It's just here where it's kind of like
Because it
just doesn't happen.
It almost
here.
makes you look bad in front of other. It's like family business. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the same with the
They don't want to like show everyone like, hey, we got a mess over here.
Yeah, and same with the January 6th thing, where they're like, it was just more so embarrassing because that's just not the kind of thing that happens in America.
Yeah.
Right? They're like,
America's
that
a very, like-
happens everywhere else. And
America's
we're
a
above-
hoity-toity,
Yeah,
like-
we're above that. Look at you, peasant countries. You're so destabilized that your capital's getting stormed. And then we're like, not here.
Do you know when like the family just like all hates each other? Like the family in Step Brothers, I think of, where they're singing in the car and the guy's like, all right, everybody, places. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you're hitting your mark. That's like America as a country to other countries. Like,
Yeah.
and then this is the uncle that couldn't be controlled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These events. So they're going to other countries. They're like, everything's actually really good over here. They go, that's kind of funny. Like your capital got stormed. They're like, fuck, we shouldn't have made that such a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
they
like-
could
it
have
was
not.
embarrassing.
They could have made that seem like it was nothing. It was like they did it to themselves because they go, "This is the biggest deal ever," and then other countries are like quite a mess, and they're like they have to go over and whisper like it's actually not that much of a mess. We're just saying it's a mess."
No, they had to. Like to save face with the rest of the world, they had to do all the stuff that
They probably have to
made
go
the
over
big
to all
deal
those
that they did.
countries and be like, "Jay, for the record, like this is nothing. We're just
it's
doing
fine.
everything."
It's like they stayed within the velvet ropes. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's like, and then they come home and they go, "This was a travesty. We almost lost our government." And then they go to the other countries and like, "We didn't actually."
not like you guys. You did lose your government. I remember that 92. Don't think we forgot about that.
All right, so that's what I think's happening then.
Yeah. All right, next up, Trudeau.
Yeah, do you think he's going to jail?
No.
What do you think? What do you think?
He's literally untouchable.
What do you think he would go to jail for? Is offensive blackface?
I mean, that seems like an offensive remark. That seems like the ultimate offensive remark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's not retroactive. It's only from the time.
I was gonna do this feed article, but okay, let's go back one thing.
You know, it'd be sick though if they passed that law where you can't do offensive remarks within 100 meters, and you're at 101 meters, just going fucking ham, just like literally 101 meters away, being like, "You fucking," just every single throw in the kitchen sink at them, being like, "I've never felt more alive."
That's the best. Being at a hey, pansies!
Yeah.
Just like wearing a straight up like Letterman jacket.
It's like, oh, you call yourself queers? That's funny. Me too.
I see you looking like a man. You're just blasting dude looks like a lady on the fucking speaker on your shoulder at 101 meters away.
101 meters away. It'd be lit what's going on at 101 meters.
Look at this little pansy boy.
Good stuff.
Go back to the kitchen. That's the ultimate. I'm not punching you.
Yeah, I'm not punching you. Yeah.
Walking towards the
All right.
guy.
But then if
I'm actually not touching you.
but what if they're like, well, once we start walking towards you, you got to like start backing up, kind of deal, and then they're like,
Oh yeah. You have to keep your 100 meters.
Yeah.
That's the tough
at all
part.
times.
It's always a
I imagine it'll be
balancing
from the venue though, so it'll be like,
Yeah.
it'll be a fixed 100 meters.
act. We have fixed hundo.
That 101 meter circle, woo wee!
Oh, that's gonna get rowdy.
The perimeter is gonna be a fun time. A lot of honking.
I'm not in the thing, but yeah, that would make exhilarating though. You go one step closer, it's of 25K.
That's so nuts.
But there was one they go, this Your Tango article, because I'm telling you, there is a bit of a flip in the girl community from being like fucking men suck, like screw them. Basically, there's defectors. I think a lot of women are stepping and being like, if I just like try the slightest bit to be like, I'll actually want to be a good girlfriend. You just like put yourself above the pack. A pick me girl, if you will.
Yeah, pick me. Yeah, that's what they are. They're pick me's.
A pick me, but nothing wrong with a pick me. I'll tell you what.
The pick me's. I mean,
I'll tell you what. We pick them.
They talk about them nonstop on fucking female dating strategy with the pick me's, and you're like, yeah, they're all the ones who are happy and married and have kids.
Yeah.
The rest of you are like not pick me's, but you're all miserable and alone.
Pick me sounds.
But you're all like, at least I'm not a pick me. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Well, the pick me only works for girls because every guy's a pick me.
Yes, every guy's a pick me.
No guy walks up and there's like a girl that's I'm gonna blow one of you, and you're like, we stand in solidarity.
I'm not some kind of pick me.
Yeah, because
And then one guy goes, invariably he just goes, I am.
Yeah, I'm the pick me.
It's like Prisoner's Dilemma. It's all just like the game theory Prisoner's Dilemma, where you go, well, someone's gonna say yes.
I think that the alpha girl can convince the other girls to like with mind control to be like, ladies, you all want to be gross and that's like good for us, and they go, oh, I hate my burger. Should I shave my head, sire?
I mean, like any movement though, is like, yes, if you can all act as one,
You got to be a union,
like a union,
gross
yes,
union,
a gross union. But if you can do that, girls, guys, whatever, you're like, yes, you can be very effective. But the problem is, there's no way to get everybody on board.
You're right, because you just lower the whole standards.
Yeah, and if you act
If
like
every
you're in a
guy,
union,
if every guy in unison being like, no one's working out anymore.
Yeah.
So that's done.
that's done. Then
Like
that's that.
muscle guys are out.
Yes. But the problem is, and then the worst thing you could do is act like you're in a union when you're not.
You're just the idiot.
You're just like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, none of these people agree with you. There's too many people who disagree with you, so you're like,
No, you're the idiot that's like you and your boys were hanging out and everyone's like, I'll just tell my girl to fuck off. You know what? I'll tell mine to fuck off.
Yeah, we're all going home and telling our girls to fuck off.
Yeah, and then the one guy actually does it.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, all right, boys, I guess we're single. And they're like, oh, yeah.
I kind of pussied out at the
I
last
got to
minute.
puss it out.
Yeah. Sorry.
Guy's like, well, can I stay at your house? You go, she wouldn't like that.
Yeah. I forgot when I got home that she had only got 6 nuts out that day, so I didn't have the heart to tell her no.
Have the heart. But that's exactly what it is. So the pick-me's the girl. I think the pick-me's are realizing that there's a benefit to being a pick-me.
Of course it is.
The union's breaking down. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, there's scabs. The problem is there's always scabs.
But yeah, there's obviously why wouldn't you be a scab? Because they're like this shouldn't be competitive, and you go, it is.
It is. Yeah, of course it is. It's like it's evolution. It's the most competitive thing.
Well, they want nothing to be competitive, right?
I mean, sure.
Every person.
If you don't do well in competitive things, then you would just want to get rid of competition.
Yeah. And that is what sometimes makes girls more pleasant, that they're just like, like that. Probably makes them better mothers. But there is the other part of it, yeah, where like a dude, if any, like the losery dude who's like, hey guys, let's all stop showering.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, definitely. We'll all do that. You know what you should do? Show up to the bar in track pants.
Yeah.
Do that.
But again,
we'll all wear the trackies.
Just like it's the prisoner's dilemma, where you just go back to the fact where one guy is going to pretend like he's not showering.
I know.
When he is in fact showering, and then we'll be cleaning up, and then you go, what's going on? What's his secret? And he goes, well,
me and my buddies,
we're all not showering. So.
Me, Waldo, and Jarek, and those guys, when we were in living in the house, like 22 years old, we used to go to the bar. We had a night like every week where we'd go to the bar and we'd all wear track pants and suit and tie, and then we had a briefcase. And I remember,
I think you told me that.
we like this is a big bit that we'd have. We'd all have the suit and ties with track pants, and we'd be talking to girls or whatever. And the girls, at one point, the girl was like, "What's actually in the briefcase?" And and then I dropped the briefcase once, and there was a banana and a sleeve of crackers.
Yeah, I think you told me this.
A briefcase with a banana and a sleeve of crackers.
It's a business briefcase.
Like, it sort of was a conversation starter wearing the fucking wacky outfits, I guess.
It's game 101 right there.
Honestly, I didn't realize it at the time because the game wasn't like...
Yeah, it probably wasn't even
None
out.
of us had read that stuff.
Yeah.
But like now looking back, I guess that was like the equivalent of like being the guy doing the magic tricks.
Yeah, it is. It's just a different version of it.
Yeah, they're like, why are you wearing this track pants and thing? And you're just like, honestly, we just came from work, but I also like to work. And just say just the stupidest shit.
Works.
Yeah, it's sort of, at the very least, it's just like okay, just
conversation starter. Or
yeah, I
something.
guess.
Wacky guys, yeah.
But at the time I don't think we were thinking like that. Where
you didn't think like that. You just thought it was funny. But then,
we just thought it was
But then
hilarious.
you were getting some sort of reinforcement to continue doing.
Yeah, but it was like it wouldn't be funny if we were bugging girls with the outfits, and then once you start talking to all these girls, then next thing you know, you're talking to girls.
Yeah.
But you're like their prime purpose originally was to like be annoying, I guess, because that's funnier.
Oh yeah.
Then I originally some pick me fucking.
Pick me.
These guys are joking. I'm the CEO.
Yeah, these are a bunch of clowns, but I'm actually
I just wear track pants to make them feel better because. But this woman did this article, 6 things you do subconsciously that turns your guy away. And she kind of had this like big revelation, and all the things are just like the most totally normal, basic social human skills.
Yeah.
Like she was like, if you have closed body language, it might turn away guys. If you speak in a monotone voice, after body language, your tone of voice accounts for 30% of how potential dates relate to you. Adding peaks and valleys to the way that you relate to information makes you sound more interested. So it's like just legitimately a lot of her tips that she was relaying, because I guess they've been living in this
like
world where it's
training
like,
a robot.
who cares? It did seem like that.
Yeah, they're like, this is like you're giving data to train a robot. You don't want to seem monotone.
Well, this is them competing with the AI. They're like, the AI is doing inflection now, so I guess we got to do some inflection.
This is the funny thing is like this type of article, and honestly, because we like cover articles like this, we're gonna start running into this. Maybe we don't know or not, but like this is like a ChatGPT article.
No,
I'm not saying it is.
Not a chance.
I'm saying it could be easily replaced by one.
Oh, everything can be replaced.
But I'm saying
by
like right now. Like
that's why that blue check's going to be more important.
Why? The blue check's useless now for
No, the blue check eventually is going to be to say that you're a human.
You're a human, but doesn't mean you're content. They already, I don't even know, you saw they already got rid of but the blue check on Instagram. They just, I guess they like Elon's idea.
Well, I told you, I worked hard for these by getting my agency to get them for me.
Yeah, I know. And then now people are just buying them for $15 a month.
People used to buy them for 10 grand back.
I know, that is crazy though.
How do you mean this chump that bought it for 10 grand like 6 months ago?
I know, and now it's just $15 a month.
I mean, it was worth it. If you have money and you buy a blue check, like back in the day, like it was for dudes like a license to fucking print some pussy.
It did. Yeah. I mean, people were impressed by it. And now you're like, just like on Twitter, like Twitter just ruined it entirely.
Yeah, he did 100%.
Well, the thing too is like,
if you're normal people, like I mean, when I say normal, I mean like not like a public person that would have a blue check or whatever. Like they should almost be like pumped about this because he was like, it really is like socialized the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
it was like all those guys that were getting pussy off like, you know, being an actor that has a good agent, but he hasn't really done anything, but he got a blue check, so he seems important. Like, but just tons of that, and he gets to like seem important. You go, that's over.
That's over. Oh, for sure. And I mean, like, I like the fact that all it does represent is you're like, this person is actually this person, which is fine. It doesn't need to be this.
It
like,
did make sense. Yeah,
this status.
I am
thing.
on the side of that.
I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. But like, at least Twitter used to be, you know, someone like, you know, likes a thing of yours with a blue check, and generally you go look at their profile and you're like, oh, this is like someone notable, or like could be someone.
It got carried away with the blog.
With, like,
the
on a
blogs
business.
ruined it. Like the truth is, like this didn't happen on other platforms, but on Twitter, the blogs ruined it because they were so in bed with all these blogs. So it's like if you worked at Vice, you got a blue check because they weren't. Every other platform was like the whole purpose of it on other platforms was they go, this is the real guy. And the reason would because like when you're famous, a lot of people do impersonation accounts. And that was kind of the purpose of it. On Twitter, they would say that. And if you're a journalist. So anyone that like worked at BuzzFeed for like as an intern for a weekend got a blue check.
Yeah.
So that's what like on Twitter, it actually didn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I have a blue check on
Twitter.
Twitter.
But for the most part, there was still somebody like somewhat like in something like notable. Like if you're in entertainment, you'd be like, you know, you might be able to connect with them or like do something with them but now it's just you clicking. It's like just whatever. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's just they have Twitter Blue. That's all
I know.
It means now.
Which is bizarre, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
Whatever.
But they go, when you're answering questions, generally connections are made in the details. When you give brief answers, you give off the impression that you're not interested. It's easy for everyone to share detail. It's not easy for everyone to share details of their life, but sometimes it's necessary when dating. And they go, I know you've been told sometimes that people have a resting bitch face and you've accepted that, but smiling might not be your thing. But hey, if you don't smile, you give the impression that you're not having a good time. So all their things are, don't give one-word answers and then sometimes smile.
Yeah,
like
it's like training a fucking.
It's legitimately training a
alien,
robot,
or like training an alien to
training an alien to be a
pass
human.
as a person.
But it's like imagine having like a hot revelation for girls being like, yo, if you're on a date, like a smile every now and then might because you're sitting with a girl and you're like, oh, so where do you work? She goes, IBM.
Yeah.
And you go,
and then it's like, don't be bitter.
Do you want to maybe like, do you want to order now? Whatever. And you go, do you want to not do this then? I don't know. I guess we'll just go our separate ways. And then she's like, oh, that another date down the drain. And you go, like, she's like, hey, have you considered like answering a question, then maybe asking one? She was like, huh?
Yeah, these chicks are.
Setting a negative tone that you've been dating so long with no success, you might come across as bitter or feel like you deserve more. So the last tip was if you're sitting there dating with someone, be like, don't describe.
Don't be bitter.
You don't be like, I guess let's do this. Like another date, another fucking. What's your deal?
Yeah, I'm gonna be alone forever. Anyways,
where do you work? I guess you have something interesting you want to tell me about yourself. Did you go on a lot of dates?
Like this? I guess some people need to hear this. Like, I don't. Like, is this helping anybody?
It's so funny. Okay, we're gonna do this one more thing. So, this woman has the biggest feet going, right? And she goes,
she got real puppies.
I have the world's biggest feet, and I have to fend off perverts, right? So starts out, Texas woman with the world's biggest feet says she's constantly inundated with requests from creeps who want to purchase feet pics off her Titanic trotters. So they get
Titanic trotters.
Yeah, they get fancy with
That's
the
a New
language
York
of this
Post.
puppy.
No, New York Post is not letting Titanic trotters go.
It's interesting that you would think that people like if you're into the like a big into the foot community. It's interesting to me that like a big one's like desirable.
Like bigger is better.
I wouldn't think that at all. That like having like a huge foot would be like attractive in the foot
but
community.
But maybe some people in the foot community, like, you know, just like it's the equivalent of being into a BBW.
I guess right
it's like
of the foot BBW. Yeah. They use footnote at some point in the article for sure, right?
Yeah.
But the other part where obviously there's like a bunch of funny stuff, but the original thing was like, it was like, okay, we'll stop posting pictures of him. And then like she was like, because a big part of the article is like, it's so hard because all these guys keep sending me photos, asking me for photos and sending me pervy things. And it was like, okay, stop putting photos.
Yeah,
of your
stop
feet
putting photos of your feet.
Stop putting photos of your feet online. You're like, well, I can't stop putting.
Yeah, I
photos.
can't. I mean, it's kind of my whole identity is to have huge feet.
So yeah, and she's got like this thing's got all the fixins because it's got like funny messages that she's getting. It's got like she's a victim, but it's also got an inspirational component where she's sort of saying like, and this is why shoe companies need to make bigger shoes. Like it's a whole melange of stuff. But like her specific group is like women with big feet, like what we have to go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always stepping on toys.
Yeah. She's like, shoes cost $400. I got to get them custom made in Germany. The craziest part is she needs to do a GoFundMe to pay for her shoes. And you're like, there's such a solution here. She says she's a Christian and that's the issue, but you're like, you can't just like kind of on the DL sell some foot pics to cover your fucking...
Well, also saying, so her whole thing is she goes, I need to crowdfund my shoes, $400. So this girl's got a whole sham going on right now, right? But then she goes, and the reason I don't want to sell my foot pics is I'm Christian, but I'm fine like putting photos of them online or whatever anyway, so people can see them and send me all these pervy things, right? But she goes, she's a Christian, which is just like a pretty funny way that like she was like the reason the Lord that's where the Lord draws the line.
No selling footy pics. Is her Instagram just all photos of her feet? She's a little big lady too, 6'9".
Yeah. That's one thing that God said: "Thou shalt not send foot pics." Her foot's measuring at 13 inches from heel to toe. Ooh. Her left flipper clocks. Okay, whatever. That's all that. But the funny part is that what they it's a men's 16 to 17. Unfortunately, not a lot of soul earned the Texan. Having a lot of soul earned the Texan a lot of unwanted attention. So I just wanted to read the post she's been getting because there's some really good ones. So this is the kind of stuff, and they're called podophiles, dudes who are into feet. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Podophile.
That's a tough one.
You having to explain to people. My friend's a podophile. Like,
hi, we'd like to. Yeah, you call up a convention center. Hi, we'd like to have our annual podophile convention there. They go, what the fuck?
And especially if you got some accent where you're like, I'm just trying to do a podophile thing.
Podophile thing?
And you go, what'd you say? A podophile.
Is there any other word for it other than
that? Seems like more of like a guy that likes podcasts. You'd call a podophile.
That'll be another little...
he likes podcasts that are really like young. He only likes the newest podcasts. I'm not here to listen to some mature podcast. I want to hear the first couple episodes.
100 listeners or less.
Fresh. I want a fresh pod.
Doesn't do anything for me otherwise.
Yeah, but the messages. The bigger the feet, the sweeter the treat. There's the kind of thing people declared one ogler on a picture of her pointing at her supersized soles at the camera.
Those are some fucking...
You love having it both ways, don't you? So she goes, I could never start some site where I'm selling my feet, but I will give them away for free. And if you do want to subscribe to my my GoFundMe, off.
She's got to figure out. There must be some way around this where she can kind of post the feet pics.
Yeah, I think she goes, hey, there's feets here, donations you're giving me. Just, from one Christian to another.
And here are just photos of my feet for like science purposes.
Yes. It's like when the prostitute, like you're like, no, I'm paying her to
I'm
dinner.
buying roses.
I'm paying her for dinner. And if we happen to do something after, you are paying me because you enjoy my Instagram presence. If you happen to get a feet pic, you happen to get a feet pic, but that's nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
The bigger the feet, the sweeter the treat. That's what this pervert says. Oh my, I wish I could smell them so bad, lamented a third soul searcher.
He probably did lament that. I believe that he lamented that. He goes,
Another man wrote, holy crap, I'd love to suck those. So a lot of them, the big thing, they'd really like to suck the big ones.
Yeah, they'll suck a big one.
I feel like you'd want to suck like a
they're
smaller
They're
one.
size kings.
They're size kings.
These guys are all size kings. They just like a big foot.
That's a weird thing. I can't believe the bigger the better. Just like really.
But I don't think. Yeah, it's not across the board for all of our.
So this is
for all of those podophiles who listen to the podcast. We're not talking about all of you.
So you think this is like a small sect? Do you think that they're in the foot community? Like they call those guys freaks? Like these are the freaks that friggin', You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sending people.
Every community has their outcasts and their fringe people.
Do you think that the feet community doesn't like the big feet people, where they're like, everyone's like, they have their foot community Discord server or the Reddit, and everyone's posting photos, and the one guy just keeps posting the clunkers, and you're like, stop it.
Yeah, well,
We don't like that.
Yeah, they're just every community like that has its own hierarchy. There's always these naturally developing hierarchies, I think.
I mean, the craziest is the like Asian foot binding. Did you ever see like those photos of like the way that they?
Well, I know in the Japanese where they try and get the women
the foot in the tiniest
in
little
the
shoe, and all their
tiniest little shoe.
it's all just like mushed up. I mean, I didn't even know you could like.
Yeah, well,
you could make a.
Well, you can just the bones. You can
but
change
like
the bones.
that's one of the most insane things in history because it's not even attractive.
And it probably sucks to like that's your life.
Your whole life is being a foot binder.
Well, but like once it's bound, yeah, and then
you can't walk.
You can't walk, and it's all. But your feet look super small. I guess they just want super small.
But they only. I mean, I guess if you would like a super small foot, it looks kind of. I guess that would like do your fix when they had the shoe on. But as soon as they take the shoe off, it's like ugh.
Mangled. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know. Chicks are.
Most women can just go to the store and buy a pair of shoes for the outfit they want, but I don't have that luxury. So she's working with it. So her whole thing is she needs, everyone. She wants the shoe companies to make bigger sizes, but it's like, well, why would they if they can only sell one
like,
pair?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not. The truth is, it's not even the shoe manufacturers. It's like the retail outlets for the most part probably wouldn't do it.
I mean, nobody would. It's just like here's our like palette of size 18 shoes.
You need to shop at
Hey,
the
we
big
didn't
and
sell
tall.
any except because there's only one person in the world with these shoes.
You gotta shop at the freak stores. That is what
Not
it
even
is.
freak stores. She said herself, nobody in the world has the same size shoes as her. No woman in the world.
So why would they make them? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, it's a market of one.
You gotta shop at the Clodhopper store. But the market did even it out because men online are paying for your shoes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
She thinks, I don't know what she thinks, like, is a solution. She just, all that she knows is she's paying a lot and she shouldn't be.
You think she should be?
She doesn't know how it should get solved or why it gets solved. She just knows this. She doesn't like that she's paying all this money.
Go donate to her GoFundMe. She's raised $680 so far, which is more than Frank
Couple
D'Angelo.
pairs of shoes.
He officially put in his paperwork yesterday.
Oh, that's all his money gone.
Yeah,
Probably cost about $1,000 to run.
All the $300 that he had raised is gone. Frank D'Angelo.
Him
from there.
raising fucking $600 is so
Dude,
hilarious.
we should fucking go full press, get him elected. Just everything we can do.
I mean, vote for him for sure. Yeah.
Vote for Frank D'Angelo, no question.
We'll fly back to vote for him.
Yeah, no, I'll perform. anything
All
he
these
wants.
these custom kicks don't come cheap. Herbert has a GoFundMe to help foot the bill. There it is, folks.
There it is.
There it is. That's where we got it. Herbert says some of the kinksters even asked to purchase pictures of the flippers. Whoever wrote this thing, do you think that they wrote foot synonym into Google?
100%.
And then they just
used every one.
single one. I appreciate it though. I'm not
No.
hating. I respect someone that like puts into their craft. You know what I mean? So yeah, she says she's a Christian, so the Lord doesn't want it, and it's been very motivational to hear all these women reaching out saying, "I also too got a fucking big ass foot, and I want free shoes." So all the other fucking freaks out there, all the other freaks out there that are reading this article saying, "I got a fucking foot that's too big that I want." I didn't. You know what they didn't say though is that someone put their foot in their mouth. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I guess she doesn't.
She hasn't been like.
She doesn't have enough detractors.
Some of the guys put their foot in their mouth when they're sending her messages. You know.
Yeah, I guess for women, I remember when I was in high school, this kid on our football team had, he was like a massive kid. His name was Pound. That's what everybody called him, but he was huge. He must have been
Original.
like 400.
That's what you guys came up with.
Yeah, I don't come up with it, but he was on the football team and he was huge. This kid
I didn't
Jesse,
come up with it.
Jesse, and I think he had size 18 feet, and literally like the Miami Dolphins sent him shoes
Really?
because he just couldn't find cleats and he wanted to play football, and he was
How
so
is she not
big.
able to get that?
Well, I guess
feel
there's
like-
no woman equivalent for that.
Okay.
Where it's like if you are like that and you're like a kid or something, there's like some football team somewhere who's like, yeah, we have a bunch of size 18 cleats kicking around, but she's fucking.
Oh, because they have other dudes that
because they
that
have other
size.
guys because they're like it's the NFL.
Well, I always see these stories about some kid that's got like big clonkers, and then it'll be like Shaq sends him a pair of his
Right,
shoes.
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
Which is almost like a marketing thing. You know what I mean? Because you're like some.
this
freak of
wasn't
nature.
though. This was just like someone started like reaching out and they go, yeah, I'm like I know.
He like JJ style, like called places. He
No,
cold
he did.
called.
I think one of the coaches.
I'm gonna level with you. I got a big foot. I want free shoes.
Go, what can you do for us?
Yeah.
And then someone knew someone at the Miami Dolphins, and they're like, we got you, and they sent some cleats over to him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, patreon.com/theboyscast. New episode every week. You already know what it is.
You do know what it is.
Yes. So we appreciate you. This has been the Boys Cast.